Greetings and welcome to you, fancy feathers. So, today we're going to do a fire energy, fire element. I was going to say fire sign reading. I miss you. So, it's been so difficult to stay away from astrology. So I figured, who said that I gotta stay away from the elements? Let's do the elements. I have been wanting to do fire sign readings for a long time now. I waited all summer so that I can have the space to be loud and vocal. And fire signs are my favorite to do readings for because of the progression. Let me put my phone on silent because I don't want to be interrupted. I have my coffee. Join me, join me. So, if you have a lot of fire sign in your natal chart, and even if you don't, but you deal with a lot of people who have fire sign energy, fire energy. Let me put this down. I want it far away from me. Like, if you can see your phone, it's so distracting. And I want it far away from me. Okay? And let's do a little check-in. So, it's been a long time since we did, I pretty much either deleted, um, most of my astrology videos because I want to focus on healing and recovery. And whenever I branch out to astrology, it in enables it enables codependency. Okay? Tarot is a $1 billion industry. Tarot makes their money lying to people. And we love to be lied to, don't we? We love to hear the lies for hours and hours and hours. You know, tarot readers are so good at glazing things. And everybody to their own, everybody to their own. There are people out there that have no one, absolutely no one. They feel alone. And just listening to someone talk for hours is helpful. So, if you're a tarot reader and you enjoy doing what you do, you probably enjoy doing it because there are people who like listening to your voice. It's soothing to hear someone talking, even if what you're saying has nothing to do with them, because we are meant to be in a community. We are meant to be surrounded by a family, but with so much dysfunction in modern society, a lot of people feel like they don't have a relationship with their family members. So when that happens, you have to go out and look for your soul family, even if it's just a tiny little circle of people that you trust that will not violate you and your safety and comfort. It's really hard when you're younger to find that circle, but as you get older and you learn to read through people and read how genuine or not genuine they are, um, the older you get, it's easier for people to catch. Okay, that person has interest. That person is looking for benefits. That person is just looking to use you. So let's get started, shall we? I'm so excited to see what has progressed since the last time that I did a check with, you know, the fire people. In Vedic astrology, I'm a Sagittarius, Aries rising, and Cancer moon. And then in Western astrology, I'm a whole completely three different signs. Vedic came first. So Vedic, I feel, is more accurate and good with predictions. But both of them were altered and edited through time. The 13-month is left out, the 13th sign is left out. There's so much that's left out that I decided to leave it all out altogether because it's just too much editing, too much hiding, too many secrets. So let's keep this simple and work with the elements. Um, Hi, Sagittarius. Hi, Aries. Hi, Leos. I do understand that you are all going through something really different. So, as I commit to doing element readings instead of all 13 signs, I will try to include different moments for each different sign, okay? But for the most part, this is for the fire elements. Do, 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 do. I must say that Sagittariuses, you are handling this very, very well. Better than other people, maybe because you're ruled by Jupiter. But it's time to move on, okay? For all the fire signs and fire elements, all three of you, it's time to move on to the next chapter, the next book, the next series, stepping into your new identity. There's something that has been lagging for Leos. Your resentment is holding you back from succeeding and progressing. For Aries, your insecurities and your fears are holding you back from progressing and succeeding. For Sagittarius, you caring what people think, even for one split second, is holding you back from progressing and succeeding. So let's do a 4 element spread. I need to get my notes to make sure that I get them correct. So let's take this as the west direction, the section that needs to be meditated on. And that is, why are you trying to redo 8th grade when you already graduated? You are the fire energy, the fire element of life, and you refuse to go forward. Let's get a clue from the poker cards. We have the King of Diamonds. You have King of Diamonds energy. For God's sakes, you are this unstoppable, blazing, bold fire, and yet some of you have stopped. Just stopped moving forward. Not wanting to take your throne, not wanting to sit down on your throne when it's time to. There are simultaneous 3D issues or 3D obstacles that you feel are keeping you from doing that, and that's not your imagination. There's this spiritual test going on that's affecting everybody, where we're being asked to use our imagination like we did when we were children. Like the secret garden. There is power in using your imagination and playing pretend. Pretending that there is a feast in your home and visualizing what that would feel like to have a feast where maybe in the 3D all you have is butter. We I don't want to say, there's certain things that I don't want to say on here. It's a time that we have to play pretend. The 3D is not reflecting the 5D, but you're being asked to sit on your throne and act like the king or queen that you are, even if the 3D doesn't reflect that. In the 5D, you have a spiritual body that is as big as an airplane and can be expanded how you wish. And the spiritual realm needs to be activated. Whether or not doing that is going to reflect in the 3D is not the point right now. Usually that would be the point. But there's this energy that does not want to be of interest. There's this energy that wants to be unconditional, where the imagination, the pretending, has to be done without an interest that it will reflect in the 3D. Does that make sense? And as the imaginating and pretending continues and gets stronger, you will lose interest in the 3D desires. So let's say you really need bread. I know it's funny, right? You really need bread for your sandwich. And you start imagining and pretending that you have this feast, a feast in your home for the king and the queen, right? And you get into the details and colors and feelings and sensations. And then somebody knocks on the door and you scramble out of your little imagination dimension. And you're like, whoa, I was really doing that for a long time. You go answer the door, you back in the 3D, and you realize what was it that I wanted? Bread? And all of a sudden you don't want the bread anymore. You lost the desire to want bread simply by imagining that you have a feast. So by using your imagination and pretending and just getting lost in a different realm alters your desires in the 3D. Let's say you don't have 100 pieces of groceries that you thought that you needed. And you do some inner work, you do some energy work, and then you realize you don't want those 100 items anymore. You only want two out of 100. There's this energy of wastefulness reduction, waste reduction in however that articulates into your life. What needs to be renewed for the north direction? The renewal that comes from the north, we have the bear. Observation. Sitting back, what needs to be renewed is you sitting back and observing more. That's what needs to be renewed. So let me move this out the way. Fully accepting yourself. Wisdom is the ability to see the connection of all life and to accept all things as they are. That includes fully accepting yourself in any given moment. Wisdom links the intuitive feelings with the fact and information known to mind. When you act from a place of wisdom, you allow guidance, opening yourself to the information provided by the universe. Avoid the assumption that every opportunity is a message from the universe. So, usually, when this comes up, it's because you're being uh, overly superstitious and not accepting things for how they are. So, what needs to be renewed is acceptance of the circumstances, acceptance of defeat. Right? We never want to accept defeat. We always want to accept win, and we never want to accept defeat, as Bruce Lee always says. Needing to learn how to accept defeat. Okay, in this situation, I was defeated. What can I learn from it? So let's pull a poker card for what needs to be renewed. Is there something that you refuse to accept? So for Leos, you refuse to accept that something was done to you. You refuse to accept the past. And do you understand how much that doesn't make any logical sense? It doesn't make any logical sense to not be able to accept the past. It's going to bring issues. You know, it's like the only thing that's going to stop the past is going through a time machine and changing that moment. And that would alter everything that came after. So, with Leo, your biggest issue is accepting that the past occurred and just accepting it, even if it was negative. For some of you, accepting death, accepting the death process being difficult. For Sagittariuses, what I think is hard for you to accept is that you're a completely new person. You're having a hard time accepting your new identity because your new identity is so positive that you're having a hard time getting used to that identity when you're so used to being your past self that used, for example. And you're just having a hard time kind of stepping into your new identity that is so polished. For Aries, the most difficult thing that you're going through is accepting that something good can happen to you. And that is because of lack. While growing up, something that was not fulfilled followed you to your adulthood, where you convinced yourself that nothing good could ever happen. And that's what needs to be renewed, is you accepting that something positive can happen for you. And for the east direction of clarity, the clarity that comes from the east, motion, manifesting, clarity. So the clarity that the fire energy is needing, oh, sorry about that. Um, is what do you want to manifest next, fire people? What do you want to put into motion? What is your next move? What is it that you want? Because right now it seems like you've stopped the manifesting generator and there's a halt. So, what needs clarity is your intention. What is your intention? What is your move? What do you want to manifest next? What do you want to fear into fruition? Because it just seems like most people function by fear. So, if we're going to function by fear, fear those positive outcomes, right? What are you going to fear into fruition? You are in a power position right now where what you decide on goes. Your voice has a lot of power and authority right now for legal matters, for appeals. for trading. Your decisions have a lot of power. And your thinking has a lot of power. There's this microphone that's being given to you. So we have the 7 of clovers with a mystical power that you have right now. You have a mystical power over the opposing force. Your decisions, your authority, your investments are protected. If something's not following through, it's because it's not meant to. And you will get a clear desire to make these bold moves towards certain things that you feel like you took too long, you know, like selling a house. You feel like maybe you could have sold a house sooner. So, since there is a delay, the opposing force will cause delay. They cannot take a blessing, a miracle, a transaction, a relationship. They cannot take those things away. They could only cause a delay. So don't worry so much because there's this mystical alignment that's going on to fix things that you feel were technical issues. And the south direction, the growth that comes from the south direction. I think that I like these spreads better than the fire pit spread. The fire pit spread is kind of short, and I like the 4 direction spread because it gives a little more information. The growth that comes from the south. Okay. Not surprised to see this one at all. So what needs growth for the fire energy, for the fire people, for the fire element, for people who have a lot of fire in their chart is your foundations. Your foundations need growth. Your foundations need solidity. Solidity. Did I just make up a word? Your foundations right now, for some of you, feel like it's crumbling like an earthquake, like quicksand. Okay. If that's happening, it's because you're meant to go somewhere else. If your ground is not shaky, this is your emotions. You need to fundamentalize your emotions. There's something that is not solid ground, and whatever that is in your life that is not solid ground needs growth. And the answer to this is not necessarily what you think, because the first thing that you're going to run to is materialism. Materialism. Be careful to not be materialistic, be careful to not be superficial. Be careful to not be egotistical because that disempowers you more than anything else. More than drugs, more than alcohol, more than self destructive behavior. The one thing that causes you a speed bump is the ego, especially because you represent fire. So you tend to misinterpret, misunderstand the fire for ego. And you have to differentiate the two and separate them. Fire is the motivation, the flame is the inspiration to get things going. But you tend to take the ego and cover the fire with the ego. So all you see is the ego, and then you make decisions based on ego and then wonder why it didn't go well. Whenever anything doesn't go well, it's always because of ego at some point. 9 out of 10 times, it's ego made that little mistake that it just couldn't do what it needed to do because ego got in the way. So I just feel like a lot of your lack of solid foundations come from an ego issue that is unnecessary, and unnecessary to argue with people that are not going to get it. Don't allow yourself to get left with less than you deserve because of that ego that is not letting you solidify what you want solidified. You want things to be solid. You want things to be consistent, persistent, grounded, on a routine, happy, healthy, guarded, right? So why isn't that happening? It's not happening because of an egotistical decision or lack of. Okay, and this could have to do with your financial situation. So some imbalance is affecting your financial situation. So again, an ego based mistake is causing financial issues or a financial obstruction or a creative blockage so that your foundations do not become solid. This possibly might be related to emotions for some of you. If there is an imbalance in a certain area of your life, it does not matter what house it's in. It doesn't matter what area it's in. It doesn't matter what element is in. You can sit here and go through all the astrology. It doesn't matter. Any imbalance is going to affect the rest of your life if you look at your life like a wheel. If something isn't right here, it's not going to be right here. So it doesn't really matter what that is. We can go on forever talking about where this imbalance might be coming from. I think it's coming from mental and emotional. And it's like something is going on mentally and emotionally that's not letting you think straight. And it has to do with what I've already mentioned is affecting you in a real negative manner. So as you improve one area of your life, the weakness increases. So let's say you're really good at cooking. So the cooking is getting done, but you're neglecting something else. That something else is going to keep you up at night. You're going to be tired in the morning and you're going to feel like this jet lag sensation, and then you can't cook right. So it's like a domino effect that's happening. One little move, one little mistake is causing a domino onto your life. For others of you, it's a fear factor. For others, it's admitting to something where, let's say, you sign for a house and you're waiting for them to call you back for the keys. And it's just your ego that doesn't want you to call them. And you're like, you know what? I'm the customer. They need to call me with the keys. But maybe that person is really busy with technical issues where maybe something broke down at another property and they just honestly cannot contact you to tell you that your keys are actually ready because something crazy happened. Meanwhile, you're at home fretting, thinking, I'm the customer. They should call me. When all you have to do is just lower that ego and say, you know what? They gave me their business card. I'm going to use the business card. I'm going to call. You call the business card. You speak to the receptionist, and she's like, yes, we have your keys here. Come and pick them up. And you're like, oh my God. You're thinking in your head, you were willing to wait up to a week for them to call you. And nothing would have gotten done if you wouldn't have called them because of an honest technical backup issue that they're having where they honestly weren't going to be able to call you anytime soon unless you did. And then you think to yourself, wow, if I would have never called, I would have had to waste money on this and this and this and this and this for an entire week when all you had to do was just make a follow up call. And that follow up call gives you the keys and everything is set in order. So one little mistake will cause it all to crumble. So let's see about your love life because I know that's all people care about, right? I tried to include a little bit. I tried to include a little bit of love um, in my readings because I know people don't want to get drowned out with recovery videos. So I try to include a little love. So for the fire energy, what is the love situation for singles? Do 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 do. Oh, oop, oop, ooh. The love situation for singles is that you don't want to be single anymore. You want to share the throne with your king and queen. You want commitment and you don't want to be single anymore. And for some of you, your life isn't solid because you're not living together. Like, let's say you've been going out dating for a really long time, or married for a really long time, or, together for a really long time, but not living together. And for some of you, the missing piece is you needing to move in together. So, for most of you, you want to commit. You want to commit, commit, commit. You have been single for a really long time. And when you weren't single, it was with really toxic people that just wanted to use you, manipulate you, blackmail you, and then stab you in the back and give you ultimatums. So, for those of you who have been single for a long time, you don't feel like being in a relationship even counted when you were with whoever you were with in the past. You feel like it didn't even count because they didn't love you the way that they needed to love you. It's like they told you they loved you and then they hurt you and they told you they still loved you. And you're like, but you lied, but you cheated, but you threw me under the bus. And the person is like, yeah, but I loved you. Like that kind of vibe. And you just felt so betrayed and you wanted to just give up on love altogether. But as you went through recovery, sobriety, growth, you realized, you know what? I deserve commitment. I deserve what I'm willing to give that I never got. I deserve to feel that someone is committed to me. Okay, let's see how they feel about you. And these are just general for entertainment, fire energy signs. If it doesn't resonate with you, there's tons of other readers that you can go to. Oh, how do they feel about you? They feel that any lack that you feel that you have or they feel that they have financially, they feel that if you two got together, there would no longer be any financial lack or financial constrictions. That's how they feel. Let's see if there's more. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, for some of you, you're still stuck on an ex. I was thinking, especially Sagittarius. Sagittarius, I feel like you're still stuck on an ex, and I don't like them for you. I feel like they're an ex for a reason, and they're seeing your success increase. So the only reason why they're considering dating you again is because your success is increasing and you're getting support from the people that supported you when you had nothing. But when you had nothing, they left you out in the cold. They're like, oh, I'm going to go somewhere else because you are experiencing lack. So they left you. And you still think that they're right. For some of you, of course, there was probably, cheating or whatever. Um, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the fact that you were left like you were nothing. And you gave them your whole heart and soul. And you started growing your business. And your real supporters that supported you when you had nothing continued to support you through your ups and downs. And then your ex saw that, and your ex saw that as clout. So, your ex, Sagittarius, or other signs, if you feel similar, it was a very horrible person. Okay. Um, there's all kinds of threads going on around. There's all these threads about 50-50, 100 to 0. You know, the man should provide 100, and he shouldn't even provide 50. He should provide 100, right? There's all these threats. In my opinion, I think you're a horrible person if you are capable of leaving them in the dust because they have nothing. In my opinion, it takes two people to grow an empire, you know, and it shouldn't matter what gender anybody is, you know. And a lot of people might disagree. A lot of people might disagree and say, oh my God, I cannot believe that you're one of those that believes in 50-50. No, I'm not labeling anything like that. When you remove the materialism and you remove the superficiality, what do you have left? You have the soul, you have the spirit left. So when someone is out there dating for your materials, dating for your superficiality, dating for your abundance, they're not dating your real true self. They're dating your gains. And I don't know what happened to society with all these negative agendas that caused such an imbalance. Well, there are agendas, that's what happened. But regardless of all those things, through those agendas, a lot of people have lost their humanitarianism, their humanity, and they've just become selfish and self interested, self indulgent, and self serving. So if you're thinking about an ex, you better stop because they were one self serving ash individual. Okay? Sagittarius, you deserve so much more than someone who's going to leave you in the dust in your times of lack. Okay? Remember the people who were there for you when you had nothing. Gosh, you're getting me all up in my feelings. Okay? So for Leo, you have younger people that always are interested in you. Younger people always want to commit to you. Younger people always want to marry you. So why is it that you always feel like something is missing? You feel like something is missing because you refuse to move on from the past. That is what you need to work on, okay? Excuse me, Aries. There's infinite love. There's infinite love potential for Aries individual. Um, Whoever you're dealing with is willing to have something solid and infinite with you. Okay, so that is that. And last but not least, let's do a career oracle card. Dee dee dee. And let's move. Should we move these to the side? The ones that we already talked about, let's move them to the side. If you are looking to change industries, change hobbies, change things up in any way, shape, or form. Change a craft. Fire, 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 fire. Okay. We have harmony. It's important for you to have a quiet, peaceful work atmosphere in order for you to thrive. Working at home or for yourself is best. So I get this for all of you. All of you, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, all of you are work from home bosses that should not be told what to do. You know, if you have a fire rising sign or just a lot of fire in your natal chart, you can't be told what to do. You have to be your own boss. It's how you will be able to take care of your mental health and your sanity. So, no matter what you are doing for financial stability, invest a separate savings account for a work from home business that you run. And then we have long term. An opportunity could turn into a long term career move, or you will be asked to commit to a position in exchange for money. So there will be an opportunity for a long term change that will be profitable. So there will be an opportunity that either you create or an opportunity that comes to you, mostly talking about career for the most part. And you're going to like that opportunity so much that it's going to become a long term change. And for others of you, it's a long term commitment that will be profitable because both of you are professionals. So, not profitable in a superficial way at all, because it sounds like it is, but that's not the way that it's being discussed. It's mostly profitable in a unified manner. Okay, let's do more. One last one. There's like three that flipped over at the same time. Shall we take them? So we have progress. It seems like a long slog, but your efforts will pay off soon. Stay on course for at least a few more months before making a change. So the progress is going to feel really slow, and it does not require speed at all. This is something that's going to take months before you get a clear picture of what this new endeavor is and how you're going to organize it. We have independence. It's time to go out on your own and create your own business or try something new, try something well outside of your comfort zone. And this is what I think that a lot of you are going to be doing for the next couple of months is starting a website, starting a brand, starting something new. And some of you are going to start something new that you're going to enjoy doing so much or you're so passionate about that you don't even care if it's profitable. And those are the best hobbies is when you don't care if they're profitable. You just enjoy doing it, right? And later on in life, it becomes profitable, but not by interest. And those are the most beautiful types of jobs, is when you just kind of fall into them without interest and they bring benefits later on. Needing a strategy. You need a step by step plan of attack to reach the next level. Get the advice of someone who is already where you want to go. So, for those of you who want to start a new business, a new endeavor, a new project, talk to somebody who's already done it and see if they can help you get started or help promote you. That's about all the messages that I have for today. Thank you for watching. Till next time. Bye.